There is a life force, a vitality, an energy, quickening, that is translated through you into action. And because there is only one of you in all of time, this expression is unique. And if you block it, it will not exist in any other medium, and it will be lost. The world will not have it. It is not your business to determine how good it is, nor how valuable, nor how it compares to the expressions of others. It is your business to keep it yours, clearly and directly, to keep the channel open. You do not even have to believe in yourself or your work. You have to stay open and aware to the urges that motivate you. Keep the channel open. No artist is pleased. There is no satisfaction whatever at any point. There's only a queer divine dissatisfaction, blessed unrest. Keeps us marching and makes us more alive than others. Martha Graham. Well, here we are again.
Seems like only 5 minutes ago we were doing this.
More like 25 minutes ago.
It's good to see you. Always good to see you.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, this is fun. It's like we get to talk to our friends and we have cool friends and we get to like have the conversations that previously, like fools, we weren't even recording.
Yeah.
And now we get to like create this whole elaborate stage setup, have our friends come and participate in this whole production that we've created, and just have cool conversation. I mean, it's kind of it's a fun scheme, really, when you think about it.
It really is. Yeah.
Really
sometimes I like when I'm doing stuff like this, I'm like, wow, this is my life.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
I mean, what else is there to do but have fun with your friends?
That's right. Make something cool.
Try to like, add value to the group, as a wise man once said.
Right. Yeah, I think I'm really stoked for our guest today.
Yeah.
He is probably one of my biggest collaborators. I haven't like looked at how many like things I've made with other artists, but when it comes to like actual output, I work with him, I think more than other we've made quite a few really cool things that I'm proud of. He inspires me all the time. He has a similar eye for detail that I appreciate, like a sensitivity.
He's a craftsman, right? He's like a true, like, it's like about the craft. To say nothing of like the spirit of collaboration and generosity and kindness that I think he brings to all of his projects. But like, you can tell that he really cares about like doing good work.
Yes.
Like executing good work.
Yeah. And whenever he and I are working on stuff, I'm very loquacious. I talk a lot and I kind of meander. And sometimes I'm like, gosh, I don't make any sense. But I'm always like, feel particularly comfortable to get that way with our guest because he understands what I mean and he's like interested in the similar things, and he'll often blow my mind and he's like, oh, do you know about this? Do you know about that? Have you heard about that? And we always get really philosophical.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, we need to like record this.
He's a kind of a Renaissance man when you think about it.
Oh yeah. He's been all over the place.
But he's also like, I first knew him as a photographer. Mm-hmm. I worked with him on the Drama Club event with the Links, which is the dance party that we've done here at Riverside Studio, where he does all of like the lighting and visuals and video content about that event. And then now he's like deep in the filmmaker bag and just like, I know he's making a film with are you the star?
I'm not the star, but I'm the leading man.
Prominently cast in. Yeah. Our other producer, Will Rutherford's directing that. And yeah, it just feels like Logan is always playing a pivotal role in projects that like us and our friends are
yeah, he continuously blows my mind because I'm like, wait, how are you so good at this? Like, how are you this good? Like, what are you doing here? Why are you working with me? I genuinely all the time, like, why are you working with me?
That'd be a good first question for him when we bring him out.
Yeah, like, should we bring him out?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so
should
I
we
want
bring him out and ask him like what he sees in you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna bring out the one and only Logan Miller to the stage. If everybody could give him a round warm of applause, we welcome Logan Miller.
What's up, buddy?
Hey.
Oh, good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. Take a minute, set the mic.
Wow, that was quite the intro. Thank you so much, both of you.
We booked you just so that we could say nice things about you in the intro.
Hey,
I think we're done.
I love to flatter people.
I have a question. What do you see in Trueson? We were just talking privately and it came up and I just figured I'd put you on the spot.
why do I work with Trueson? Well, I think it's the same reason why I work with a lot of the people that I'm working with and engaging with, is because you guys are doers. You know, talk is cheap. Ideas are cheap. Like everyone has a good idea, but it's a completely different thing to execute on that. So, and that's one of the things that I admire about Trueson a lot is he has an idea and he goes for it. And yeah, you were talking about output. Like, man, you're always cranking out stuff.
Dang, thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's why.
Yeah,
he's an inspiration. Both of you guys are. Yeah.
Wow, I appreciate that. We had, I think the last big project we worked on was Season of Stillness. It's a short film. We haven't aired it in Tulsa.
Yeah, we haven't.
We brought it down to an art fair that was going on during South by Southwest. It was really well received. Actually, I haven't done the research. Some writers were there, like, we're going to write about this. And I haven't looked for the writing yet, but I remember it had a huge impact. And the number one question I got before people were like, what's it about? Or why did you do it? Or they're like, who shot this? Who shot this? Who filmed this? And I'm like, well, the name's right there on the little plaque, but nobody reads.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a bummer that you couldn't have been there to hear that because people were just over and over, especially for those who haven't, almost nobody's seen the film other than where we aired it. But this
was the one that I saw at the Satellite Art Show in Austin, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Chris
Shout out
was
to
there.
Brian Andrew Whiteley.
Yeah. Shout out to Brian Whiteley. The thing that's interesting because it was a video art piece, and in the art world, video art pieces are kind of allowed to do anything. They're allowed to you can film it on anything, and to a point where often that's kind of the expected format is old camcorders and stuff. So to have proper, beautiful imagery as well as something that's also kind of abstract and something you experience at an art fair where there's all kinds of stuff going on. It's rare that people sit and watch the full thing. And I remember watching, we had this whole installation I built around it that was kind of a cave made of this plastic stuff that was featured in the film. And people would go inside there and they'd watch and they'd listen. And then they would come out and I have some footage of people coming out and they have these huge smiles on their face. Some people though, were not excited. They would walk in and then turn around and go out because it was just way too, it just pushed their buttons in a way that disturbed them. And they were just it was really interesting to see the responses.
Yeah.
And I remember as we were shooting that, we were going out to various parks around town and
getting dirty,
rolling in the mud. Yeah. Well, I was really worried about stepping on glass because we were walking in a lake, kind of like a pond, a dry pond bed.
Yeah.
And where was I going with that? Yeah. Anyway, it was just a really interesting experience. I really enjoyed our conversations. I really enjoyed as we would just kind of, while I was waiting for you to set something up, or you were waiting for me to set something up, or changing costumes or whatever, we would talk about just the poetics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of light and dirt and soil and all of these ideas of what are they made of. And that film in particular was about death and decomposition, but also kind of a very physical material afterlife. And I think spiritually and philosophically, you and I can relate to you a lot because you grew up in the church.
Mm-hmm.
and then left the church. Do you still identify as an atheist or agnostic, or where are you currently on that?
Man, I don't know about titles. I guess if I had to put a title on it, it would be atheist. But I don't know. It's really complex, and I am evolving. And what I believed 10 years ago is not what I believe now, and 10 years from now, it's I hope I evolve. I hope I continue to change.
Yeah.
That's a complex subject, but yeah.
At any rate, the film was about death and also afterlife. And in this, we were kind of like, I don't know if either one of us had a really clear idea of what it was going to be, but we had this kind of feeling that we were trying to like express and understand and unpack. And I had an awareness of kind of a general theme of when your body decomposes, your gases, unless you're, depending on how you're embalmed or whatever, but in my ideal version, I'll just be left in a field to just bloat and explode and be covered in mushrooms and maggots and flies. Yeah. And I wrote this poem that was about that, the beauty of transforming into, the maggot consumes your flesh and then turns into a fly, which has wings and ascends into the skies and can see the world in 3D with more color than my human eyes could ever see, and becoming mycelium and eventually trees and grass and plants and like all of these things. And it's rare that I find other people who can like get that and then take it a step further and be like, yeah, but what about, have you thought about this thing? And and that was just like, oh man, it was just it was amazing.
That's when you find an artist friend like that, like I grew up playing music for a long time, and like you had your band, or at least that's what you wanted to have. You wanted to have like a couple people with you that you could play music with. And when you're in those moments, like with a band, if they're a good friend and you guys like similar music and have a similar taste, it's like you just riff off of each other. And there's really no telling where you're going to end up, and that's okay. Everyone's okay with it. You know what I mean? And so that's how I feel about as a visual artist now, like my collaborators. I'm like, is this a good bandmate? And like, can we continue to like riff off of each other and just like explore this amalgamation of our ideas together and kind of see where it goes? And I feel like we do that a lot.
Yeah. One of the last conversations we had, we're working on a kind of the opposite side of that piece. That piece was called Season of Stillness. It only made sense to have a season of movement because it was kind of like referencing winter and as things die back. So like, well, season of movement would be like summer. And we were out filming and thinking about like beauty. We were talking about the concept of beauty and like what is beauty, right? Like, is it something you can mathematically explain or like philosophically? Like if you had to write an essay on like what is beauty, and I don't know, it was just like the conversation we had. I just was like so into it. It made me like want to create a whole nother like art piece and explore that.
Because it's such a deep subject, beauty and aesthetics, and beauty. It always reflects the ideals of our time. It is something that is, I think, objectively, it always reflects the ideals of our time. It's always changing, but subjectively, Well, do you have a subjective perspective on what beauty is?
I don't know. I think like there's like I think it's Plato said like beauty is a reflection of the universe or something to that effect. And
it's a reflection of the divine.
There we go. The reflection of the divine.
It was like the truth is beauty, beauty is truth. That's like another ancient philosophy.
Yeah. That might have been Plato too.
Yeah. One of those like guys. It's like this thing that like, at least to me, aesthetics, I love machines and cars and like tools that are like pushing the pinnacle of physics or our awareness or our understanding of physics. And I think the ones that are aesthetically beautiful tell you something about physics just by looking at it. And I think like the obvious example that I reference is like a jet fighter or some hypersonic plane, right? If you see a hypersonic plane, there's something about it And maybe it's just like the little boy in me that's just like, it's kind of like the same like fire engine thing.
Yeah.
Like I remember as a little kid, anytime those like big machines that are like, the thing about a hypersonic jet is it's shaped that way because that's what aerodynamics looks like.
Right.
It's a distillation of the physics of aerodynamics
Mm-hmm.
and pushing them to like the ragged edge of what our material science understanding
Mm-hmm.
can handle. It's like,
Yeah.
so these materials with whatever like systems we have shapes the jet that way.
Mm-hmm.
And whether you know it or not, when you see it, it's telling you that like, this is how an airfoil works. And this is how heat is dissipated and how, lift and the strains that go on the airframe and all those
Mm-hmm.
things. And I think that a good piece of art, a good painting, a good song, a good whatever, a poem is telling you that about the creator, the artist.
Mm.
There's something within them that they're trying to understand. And maybe it's some exploration that they don't know the answer yet.
Yeah.
At least for me, the art that I feel is like, when I look back at it, I'm like, okay, this had something, is that
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was until after it was done. It was this thing I'm trying to figure out and investigate. I don't know. Can you relate to that at all?
So beauty as like, thinking about the plane, like the plane is, or you were talking about how it can't be any other way. A plane looks like a plane, a bird looks like a bird, because that's the only way to fly. And so is that a reflection of something really deep and absolute? Is that a reflection of beauty? I don't know, like a plane is a hard one.
Yeah. Or something like a wheel.
But it's also like, just like any art or any creation, it's like, I think this is beautiful. You think that is beautiful. I see the beauty in this. Like what I'm attracted to is different from like what you're attracted to. Like there does seem to be like certain things like a sunset or something that we all sort of agree that sort of transcends, anyone's subjective interpretation or personal lens of what beauty is. Like there's certainly those kind of like universal things, but yeah, a lot of it to me anyway is just like in the eye of the beholder, as they say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How do you feel about like objective versus subjective, like when it comes to beauty in that sense?
Yeah. Man, it's hard. I do think, again, objectively, I think beauty, I think we're in the modern world, we're conflating two different things. We're conflating beauty and novelty. And we're kind of misusing this word maybe of beauty, when maybe what we mean to say is actually something different. And so
you think the word beauty should be reserved for like a more elite classification?
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, at the same time, no, because it's unless you want to go down this path of like, like the religious path, like it's codified.
Mm-hmm.
It is this way, and there's no other way. Which I don't necessarily think that is the best way to go about defining aesthetics necessarily. But yeah,
I think there's a difference between pretty and beauty, right? Like something can be ugly and beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the film we made, Season of Stillness, was like beautiful in the sense that there's things that are ugly. I say ugly, but like disturbing or dark, or but that's where I think there's beauty in that. Like I think there's something beautiful about like heavy metal guttural screaming, and it's not like an opera high C that's like this beautiful frequency, but it's this other thing that to me is beautiful.
Yeah.
Or like Toccata and Fugue has like these, that famous Bach da-na-na, for those that aren't as smart as me and know all about classical music. There's things about that arrangement and how it moves from these moments of dissonance and then harmony and going back to the early, notes or melodies.
But at that time, it was probably novel.
True.
It probably wasn't, people weren't considering that beauty necessarily. They were probably considering it quite novel, what he was doing.
Right.
And the so much of the things that we create is dependent upon technology, some tool, right? And so when the technology of pianos and organs and things like that started to improve, that opened up so many other doors of creativity. And I feel like just as much back then as it is now, it's like they were pushing things to the limit, and it was, in a lot of people's eyes, it was novel. Yeah, but looking back, it's like now we consider it beautiful because it's withstood the test of time. Kind of like you said, it's like a sunset. It's like when you listen to something like this, it's like there's something like eternal. It's a reflection of something divine and eternal, and I think time is a big part of that. Something that withstands the test of time. I think is also an aspect of aesthetics.
It's tricky territory, though. I think similar to, like your hesitancy to like label your religious perspective as any one thing. It's like once we get into like using a word, whether that word is beauty or pretty or novelty, it's like we're kind of like already like going down the wrong path, in my opinion, because it's like fundamentally it's like experience, and all we have like the purity of the things that we experience, which is like this kind of like other thing that like, I can't really put into words what my experience is. And you like, we can kind of like compare notes and be like, I would say it's like this. Would you say, we're kind of like all kind of like describing our, lived experience or like the sensory information we take in. But fundamentally, like sensory information is an experience that is like ineffable, and it's like, weird and indescribable. And so I always, as much as I like, if I had to like boil down like my biggest like creative tool, it would be like using words, like, and being a wordsmith and like writing and, phrasing things in just the right way, like to, to describe, like if I'm writing like a bio for an artist or something, but like, it's all just like, there's like another philosophical thing. It's like, there's like the moon, and then there's like pointing at the moon, and like, they say that about religion. It's like, religion is all trying to like, is all just pointing at the moon, but it's not the moon. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I think that like it's fun to think about and talk about and like, oh, would you use this word or that word? And, but that's like almost like too analytical for me for like the kind of like waters that we're swimming in with regards to like something as like lofty and ineffable as like what is beauty,
Yeah, it's something that like I think at least for me as a visual artist, when I'm trying to chase it in something like a painting, I've made some painting. I always want them to be beautiful. I've never made a painting where I'm like, I don't want this to be beautiful. Like that's whether I think every painting I've made, I want it to be beautiful. However, I've intentionally avoided pretty. There's like certain things I know that like, okay, if I use these I can use a color wheel, use these complementary colors, use warm tones and cool tones and like certain shapes and contrast. And then like bada bing, bada boom, you got a pretty painting and people will go like, whoa, that's amazing. It like blows their mind.
So that's another fragment of beauty is pretty, so, and what you're describing is, is pretty a formula?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like there's
like if you see a formula kind of arising in someone's work, is it it's no longer beautiful, but maybe it's pretty.
Right. And maybe I don't know why I'm like averse to it because it doesn't sell paintings and that's how I make a living. And it's
Right.
like sometimes I'm like, God damn it, Trueson, just make a pretty painting and people
Sure.
so that you can like pay your mortgage this month. But for whatever reason, it's like in Tulsa we have like this what is that called? Like we love our hometown hero.
Our icons.
Our icons, right? We have the buffalo and the driller. For those of all of our listeners that, majority of all our millions of listeners that aren't in Tulsa, we have this giant statue of an oil roughneck, a driller. And it's like the biggest statue in our in our city, probably the region, it's like one of the tallest freestanding statues in America. And it's not pretty, and I don't think it's beautiful either, quite frankly. I think it's kind of like...
It's kind of cool.
It's novel.
It's novel. There you go. I think it's definitely novel.
And it's like, I went to Portland, Maine a few weeks ago, and it's like, it's lighthouses and it's lobsters. I went to St. Louis, and it's the fucking arch. It's like, we are like, I think every community has like something like that is like, obviously like California, like the beach, the waves, like the sunshine, like the iconography of the city. And it does kind of become like, it's like because we live in a community, it's like you want, like, there's a tendency to sort of like, it's almost like creating like cave paintings or something of like, this is what we have. Like, does this mean anything to you? Like, and we want to like, express ourselves like on a personal level. But then I think like the next layer out from like personal expression is like community expression. And so like, that is kind of like, the low hanging fruit of like, because it's the concept of like, what is ordinary to us, a 75-foot statue of a man, oil man, it is like boring to us at this point, but it's like actually like pretty interesting to anyone that's not from here. And we forget that. Back to novelty. Yeah. We don't think it's beautiful because it's like the novelty is gone.
Right. True. Because the first time I saw it, I remember seeing it in images because I'm not from Tulsa and I moved here as already an adult. And I saw it in these images and I was like, what is this thing? Should I know this? It seems famous. And it was on like t-shirts and stuff. And my wife Zia was like, yeah, it's the Driller. And I was like, okay, I guess this is like a famous thing I just wasn't cued in on. And then I finally saw it in person and I was like, oh, it's like a thing. It's like a real thing. And yeah, it is impressive, the scale. And there's something very like kind of outsider art or like there's another word they use in some academic word. But basically the person who made it wasn't like an art school trained sculptor. It had very kind of construction builder roots in the way that they constructed it, which is very true to the land of Tulsa in a lot of ways, in this kind of region with like folk art and this kind of like primitive art, as people call it.
So it was made by someone blue collar, and not not
an elite. Yeah.
They didn't even have an MFA.
Yeah, no, they didn't have an MFA. I don't think we had. It'd be interesting to know the history of it. I met somebody who was like a descendant of the designer of it.
Yeah.
But I think we've kind of got off the track here talking about the Driller.
Well, I mean, if you start talking about beauty, it's not long before you start talking about the Golden Driller. It's like
Tulsa's Driller.
But I guess like something I look for in my visual art is to find something, and maybe that's it, novelty, right? And and I remember hearing this term that novelty is the cult of the avant-garde. But like as in reference to art specifically, where it's like there was this one, I don't know who it was, but some famous art dealer talking to another art dealer on some podcast I was listening to, and he was just like, I'm really not that interested in novelty anymore. Like you being original, because for those that don't know, in the art world, especially like the big art world where things sell on auction blocks for millions of dollars, so much of what's important is that you are unique, that your art doesn't look like anybody else's art. It's not copying or referencing. It's its own kind of thing. And that's often like what dealers are looking for. And if you're going to school or if you're like researching, how do I like break out? It's like, well, you have to stand out. You can't look like everybody else.
That's a reflection of our time. Because on the edge of realism and impressionism, there was this clash, right? And so you take an artist like Manet, not Monet, Manet, Edward Manet. Or you were talking about Madame X. That was another artwork that
John Singer Sargent.
But Olympia, from Monet. He painted a prostitute, and it was kind of like sketched, and it was
especially her eye contact. That was the thing. So so
It
here's
was
the thing. I've done some portraits of people, and when they look at me, it gets so weird.
You're staring at it so long?
Because we were making eye contact. Because I'm like, I'm looking at their face, and they're looking at my eyes, and it starts to get to a point where it's like, especially I did it once where I'm like, I invited people over by them, just one-on-one in my house, and it was during the day. My wife was at work, and there were some people that came in there, and I was just like, man, next time I'm going to tell people, I would tell them like, look wherever you feel comfortable. And after that, I started to be like, okay, this is getting way too intimate after like 45 minutes of me staring at their face, and they're staring at my face quietly, just the two of us, just a few feet away. It's like, so I think that's a big part of that painting of Olympia is like, she's sitting there staring at him with this, for those that don't know, it's this painting in the 1800s. There's a big art movement in Paris. Things were changing. And there's these big salons they would do that was kind of like the who's who. Everybody would display their work. And he puts up this painting of a nude woman reclining, and she has this very kind of like cold or just kind of relaxed, kind of distant kind of look, just kind of unimpressed. She's looking at the viewer, looking at you, looking at, and when it came to the rules of engagement with painting nude women for men at the time, that was just like, you couldn't do that and I'm learning now, having done it, I'm like, I get it now. But he was like, screw that. Despite the fact that like everybody, that was the common thing when you needed a nude model, anybody of high society wouldn't do that. So you'd have to find somebody who could pose nude and it not affect their like place in society.
Yeah. But that he kind of, he changed the game, in a way. Realism was forced to capitulate to Impressionism eventually, because it caught on and people started to understand and see the value in it and see the beauty in it. And then all of a sudden, these super technical, refined, the Caravaggios, like that era of painting, it didn't die off, but it took a huge hit, right? And then all of a sudden we see this surge in Impressionism. And so back to what you were talking about, Basel and like what sells there. It's like, again, it's a reflection of the time. I feel like we're surrounded, we're inundated with so much cool stuff all the time. Cool, amazing, creative things. Everyone's perspective, everyone's creative excretion, and there's so much of it. And so I think in this time, it is very important to like stand out, to be novel.
Easy to be novel.
It is,
right?
I think the way to do that, and like Trueson and I have had a lot of conversations about this lately, but it's like having an intention for creating something other than that's dope, or like that's cool, like, oh man, like what a vibe, like, because we are kind of like at, arguably at the end of the road of, I mean, there's nothing new under the sun. Like, there's a lot of artists that just like make cool shit. And I think we've had a lot more conversations about like, what do I want to like say? What do I want to communicate? Like, what's the message? Like, how am I like nourishing the audience? How am I adding value to people with what I create and make it look cool or feel cool or be entertaining or be interesting or whatever? But it's like imbuing, and that's kind of like the true novelty is like each person's individual perspective, and imbuing your worldview or your like message into the thing, combining that with like the skill of creation and putting that into the world to be like received and perceived.
Yeah. I feel like, I think you're absolutely right, but like where does that put? I feel like so many artists are in this position where they really don't have a story to tell. They don't have something extraordinary that's happened to them, something profound, or and they are just like making cool shit. They're just like, this. I want to make pretty things.
I think everyone has a story to tell. Like, I think like, it's certainly, this came up in another episode recently, but certainly like as you get older and you having more life experience, creates, better art in a lot of ways. Like if you're like, I have used the example of like, I wanted to be a screenwriter when I was 18, but I like hadn't lived any life yet. And so now like 20 years later, I actually have stories to tell. So there is like a little bit of like growing, and maybe it's like your younger years are about like just living life and experiencing life and like maybe learning a craft or like figuring out what your craft is so that like when you're like ready, you can actually say something. But I kind of reject the idea that like there are people that just like aren't interesting, don't have any, you know what I mean? It's like, we all have like unique lived experiences. And I think that, certainly everyone, everyone's interesting. There's something interesting about everyone.
Yeah, I think so. I think maybe that's just more of a maybe an insecurity of myself and my artistic practices. Yeah, like figuring out what to say. Like what do I have to say? No artist is pleased, right? We're always battling with perfection, always battling with comparison. But yeah, I think that's going back to the beginning of this conversation. Why I work with Trueson, like being a collaborator with people who, and you're one of these people too. Being a collaborator with someone who can, lead by example, and bring out the best in you. That certainly helped me a lot. And I think, getting back to, what you were saying, Chris, like everyone has a story to tell. Like, I feel like some people need more people around them to kind of give them, I don't know, permission or give them an example, to give them the encouragement to, tell their story, whatever it may be.
I think a lot of it is like so much of what makes a story interesting is like the feelings. Maybe that's not true. Let me go back. So much of what makes art interesting, to me at least, are the feelings. If you watch a movie and it makes you cry, it's like, wow, this made me feel something that isn't real. And I know it's not real, but I feel it as the feeling is real. And I think everybody has feelings, has emotions, and artists tend to be highly sensitive people. Where I know I am very much a highly sensitive person. I always was. Like as a kid, I would cry easily. I'd get mad easily. Like my emotions were just all volatile. And still to this day, I'm very like easily triggered by things, whether it's good or bad. And finding ways to like have outlets for that feeling. But it's difficult to then find a way to communicate that feeling in a way that other people can also feel that feeling. And I think that whether you have like an interesting story that has a beginning, middle, and end in a 3 or 5 act structure is like, okay, that's one thing, but how do you feel? And sometimes it's like, I don't feel anything. It's like, well, that's a feeling, melancholy or disassociation or something like that. And when you see work that points at that, there's like you said, it's like permission. There's a certain kind of courage you have to have, a boldness you have to be willing to like do your little doodles or sing your bad, crappy song or your poetry, like whatever it is. Like, I want to dance, and like you're uncoordinated, and to do that anyway, and to do it sincerely, not with like a smirk, not with like I didn't, just kidding, but like genuinely, I feel this way about this thing, and I want to express it and have others feel the way I feel.
But the thing about that is like, you don't have any control about them feeling the way that you feel.
Right.
Because all we can do is project our own experiences and it becomes a mirror to yourself. And there's like countless stories of like works of art where like the artist, made this album about like this particular situation, and then I listen to that album and I'm like, I think it's about a breakup because like I'm going through it. It helped me through a breakup, and it's like, the artist like, oh, like, no, that wasn't at all what I had in mind, but like I'm glad that it was that for you, you know. And I think it's like the, you know, imbuing yourself into the work and then kind of like setting it free for other people to let it be whatever it is to them. And maybe you feel the same thing that I felt when I made it, but like maybe you don't, and maybe that is just as good, you know.
Totally, yeah. I had that happen last Tuesday at an artist council. Somebody read a poem, and it was very triggering for me because their poem to me brought me back to a time when I was actually institutionalized. It was talking about like boarded up walls and door. It was like this thing. And I was like, oh, this is kind of heavy. And then somebody else was like, I really like that. I love the way you talk about like an office and a cubicle in a way like it's a prison. And then the person then clarified like, no, this is about, I work in a prison. And I was like, oh shit, okay. See, to me, I took it as an institute, like a mental institution, because that was my context.
Yeah.
This person took it as an office because that was their context. And it was interesting to exactly what we're talking about, see it go down. The artist had to like, no, actually, it's a prison. And it was like, oh, damn. So yeah, it's some person giggled. For me, it was just like, oh shit, having like flashbacks, and other people were just like, wow, that's it. So yeah, you have no control how people receive it, and their own, you know, experience and bias and culture and all of those things are gonna, all you can do is just like put what you feel, how you feel.
It's not yours anymore. I saw an interview with Jack White. He talked about that, about his music. They were asking him all these questions about his music, and he was just like, dude, I don't know. Like, I don't feel like this stuff is mine anymore. It's not mine. It's the world's, and they're going to take it and do with it what they want, interpret it how they want. I do feel like that's like a level that you reach as an artist if you keep going, and keep getting experience and keep putting yourself out there. That's a level of maybe I don't know if it's a level of success, but you get to a point where you kind of have to, you start to experience that. You create something and you like, you put it out into the world, and yeah, someone takes it in a completely different way than, you know, it was intended. And yeah, at that point, like it's not yours anymore. It's theirs, and they're gonna interpret it.
Was it ever yours? You know,
Yeah.
that's kind of the channel thing, right? Like the
Right.
Martha Graham quote. It's like it's some other thing
Mm-hmm.
that's coming through you.
Mhm.
And it's interesting because that quote says like, there's only one of you in all of time. Your expression's unique. Like if you don't do it, it'll be lost. But then there's also this kind of other idea that's like floats around in art philosophy where it's like, if you don't make it, somebody else is going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Like ideas choose people, and you only have you're on the clock. Like once you have the idea, maybe this is why we're doers, because it's like, you know, that this is such a rare thing of like I'm actually inspired right now. This is alive in me right now. And like, I don't want to lose it. Like I like, you know, I tend to think that, because,
And you certainly don't want to see someone else do.
Oh my gosh.
but they'll never do it exactly, you know, to the point. I think Martha Graham I think that those two ideas are not necessarily mutually exclusive, because it won't be done by you. You know what I mean? That
Mhm.
idea can be reinterpreted by another artist, but like it won't be like exactly what you would have done, you know, and there will be differences. So
Yeah,
it is
for sure.
your responsibility to do it.
So with like, so the for context, for those who are listening or watching and aren't familiar with your work, how would you describe kind of what it is you're looking for, and when you go to make a piece of art?
Exactly what you said a minute ago is emotion.
Mm.
More and more, it's about emotion. When I was younger, it was just about capturing something beautiful. You know, I saw something that I thought was beautiful, and I wanted to capture it. You know, that's where it started. But more and more, getting into motion picture and narrative films, it's not just about the imagery. It's about the you know, the dialogue, the narrative, the music. You know, there's so much more depth to it. So, yeah, it's emotion, and I'm very music informs a lot of what I do. I grew up playing music, and so when it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a photograph or a video or anything that I'm creating. Like I'm always like searching for a song that makes me feel a certain way, or I'm thinking about a song that makes me feel a certain way, and kind of tying those two things together. The song and the emotion and the visual counterpart.
What an advantage we have as visual artists historically, that we could, because I'm the same way. We can put on a song at any point, choose it, play it with an amazing sound system. Like Manet didn't have that, right? It's like, what is he going to do? Hum or hire some guy to play a fiddle? And it's like a little darker. Okay, there we go. It's like music is this thing that I think is like, the more art we make, the more art we make. It's like you have all of these things that support you. I don't know. I've just been in this like air of gratitude lately, as an artist, to be living in 2025. It's like, man, I get to live at the most, like current moment of human history, like the now. I didn't live 1,000 years ago. I live now, where we have like all of these tools, and I get to know about all of these artists, and I can see all their work, and I can get on a plane and go see the originals. It's just like,
but that worldview is, I share that view, and I think that's a choice, and it's really just like embracing the moment, and like basically saying like, it's like gratitude for being who you are and where you are and when you are, and like that is a really beautiful place to like live life from. Like, I'm always like skeptical of people that are like, I should have been born in the 70s. It's like, I mean, the 70s were cool. Like, I would like to time travel and go like see like what different periods were like. But it's like, the only answer is like this is like, the current moment is always the most exciting moment. And 1,000 years ago, that was the most exciting moment. And it's like, we always have a choice of like, we could sit here and talk about all the problems with, the AI and the internet, and it's just, we're losing this and we're losing that, and this is crumbling, and it's like, it is absolutely a choice though to say yes to like whatever the moment is bringing, and live it and make art about it and just like honor it, because like that's what it is. Like, what else are you going to do?
Right. Yeah. I get, I don't know. I think about like with film, right? And video, especially now that AI film or Sora and those other models are creating moving pictures that are quite compelling, and they're only going to get better. I heard this concept, the dead internet theory. Have you heard of that? Yeah. And it's like, okay, so will we get to a point where people won't make anything? I don't think so. I totally don't think so, because there's this weird feeling when you learn something is like AI made. It's like, oh man. I'm like, unless again, it's showing you something novel that like couldn't exist, or couldn't be made by humans. But even something like a film is just as like technologically disruptive as AI, because before that you had to get on a stage play, and like people would have to like be actors or puppet shows, or it was very like, you didn't have the ability to add music and cut and special effects and costumes. So now we're like, oh no, we're going to lose this art form. And it's like, no. I think when it comes to like selling toothpaste, yes, you're not going to get to make toothpaste commercials anymore. I'm sorry. You're cooked if that was your art form. Like AI is going to do that. But I mean, not to shit on people who like not to shit on people who like their art form, their whole portfolio is full of toothpaste ads, but it frees you up to like, you now get to make something else. Like, you now get to make how you feel, right? And I don't know. It's like, maybe you don't get paid for it. I think that's the real thing we're struggling with, is like technology disrupts each industry. Photography did the same thing to painters.
Absolutely.
And like also like mass produced industrialized paint also did that to the previous painters. All the people who like made paint from scratch were like, oh shit, now anybody can paint.
Calligraphy.
All of these things. And I think the industry dies. So like the commercial industry dies, but the art form is not going to die. So I think the real challenge, and this is something I try to navigate in my practice, is like, how do I find commercial security I'm not even gonna say commercial success, but just security, just enough to keep it going, and still get the freedom to create how I feel in the work.
Yeah.
And I believe, I have faith in that if I hit the emotion right, like if I can get the channel open and my craft and my practice, like I'm in practice, I'm not out of practice, like my skills are ready, all of the table is set for me to like do the thing, then that moment can happen.
Yeah.
And that inherently will be something special and it'll be valuable. People will value it because it's like, there's something about this that speaks to beauty or humanity or the divine or something like that. And people will want that. And they'll
maybe could that be like another definition of beauty, is like your pure intention? If the intention behind the artwork, or whatever it is that you create.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't like about the driller art I see in town. Like I see a lot of painters. I'm gonna just throw shade at you, painters. People who are doing like,
but you can do it because you're a painter.
Yeah. Who are doing this, and I'm like, if you really love that icon, you really love it. But like, there's something to me that feels like corrupted when I see art that is being made for commercial purposes.
Well, it's hack.
Right. Exactly.
It's like, it's obvious. It's like, it's also just like what everyone is doing. It's like at a certain point, like it's been done to death. And it's like, we do need, even if not complete originality, we need like some injection of like novelty, so like,
or authenticity. It's like, mean it. Do you mean it?
Yeah.
Do you really mean it?
Yeah.
And like when I see work that I can see that I'm like, oh, this person really, they mean it. How it's constructed is like is important, because I need to be able to engage with it. So like your ability to create or manifest the thing, whatever it is important. But like that's the thing about punk rock. Like punk rock is like, it's all about, and if you don't mean it, then it doesn't work.
Yeah. Like
you can figure out, okay, what are the chords, and like, I have to be dragging or rushing so that we sound out of tune. Let me detune my guitar, and it's like, at that point, it's like, bro, that is not punk rock.
Right. Yeah. You're trying to be you end up being a poser.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you have to, and it's so true with hip hop, especially. Like we had Steph Simon on the show, and that's a thing that I've always thought about, like why I kind of like never really tried to rap. I did a little, I would freestyle as a kid, and I was into hip hop, but I was always like, I don't know if I mean the way that I need to like engage in this part of the art form. When it came to breakdancing, like I meant that shit. Yeah. And we would battle, and that was the thing that like I wasn't the best, but I would like get up there and battle. And I was like, this is battle. We're gonna go like take a man to the dance floor, like we're gonna freaking do this thing. And there was other people who were like, I could tell they were way more technically advanced than me, but like they didn't mean it. They were just like watching YouTube videos, and they're like, how do I do this really cool move that's like hard and takes practice? And then I would get up there and just like do real basic shit, but I was like in their face, and I fucking meant that shit. And and they would get served.
It was your intentions. You were in it. Do you think going back to AI, I had this high thought the other morning in the shower.
Shout out to weed. I had somebody
in the shower in the morning, especially.
Hell yeah, weed in the morning. That's like it's a dangerous combination.
Yeah, but I feel like AI is it's like, is it going to strip us of everything? And so I heard someone say this in the Artist Council a few weeks back. It was like, when you see the level of ease that this stuff is doing your job, like it's like, what at that point, what's the point of doing anything? And so I have a lot of hope in craftsmanship, because it's, we still see it today. There are still craftsmen, people who really take a long time to get exceptionally good at what they do. And they're not following trends. They're not creating things that are novel necessarily. But yeah, so the the spiral that I went down, I started thinking about like the Amish. I was like, there was a point in time where this group of people were like, okay, like technology is starting to strip us of everything, of our meaning, of all like hardships in our life, and what is that going to do to us? And now it's not to say that I'm going to like move to the country.
I think there will be
Amish,
people that do. I think that
intentional living is what that's the rebranding. They're calling it intentional living, where people are deciding what they want. This is a thing that kind of a concept I've been really like engaging with, and it started for like commercial success. I was like, I need to figure out a way to like make more money with my art practice, and it really led me down this road of the concept of cost. And there's a difference between expense and cost. So something can be very expensive and not costly, meaning you just put a number on there and say, this is expensive, but it didn't cost anything to create, or very little. And that's different from something that's very costly. So, a mosaic that's found from certain shells and riverbeds and chipped away and hand placed by artisans that learned the knowledge passed down, etc. Right? Yeah. A hand tufted Persian rug is very costly because it takes skill and preservation and culture and intention and time. And, carpal tunnel becomes the result of it. It's like all of these things. Is it made of wool? What kind of wool? How did you harvest the wool? And I think this is especially important in fine art. Commercial art, not at all. Fine art, it's like, how much did it cost you? Did you have to spend the time? And this is why I think cinema will persist, because there's a cost. And we see this in movies, when like why we don't like CG, and like why I can't stand most of the Marvel films, because I look at it and I'm like, where that versus like Dune, right? Dune, you can see they went to the desert and they built giant machines to throw sand, and they had like huge subwoofers that like vibrated the ground to like get these certain effects. Very costly, very difficult to do that for 10 seconds, sometimes 2 seconds of footage. And whether some people may not be aware what's going on, what they're seeing, but I'm looking at it and I'm going, oh my gosh, that's incredible. Not to mention all the actors and the time that it takes. So it's like, when you have cost in a work, it immediately communicates value, because you as the artist care enough. It's valuable enough for you to take the risk or the investment to put that cost in there. And there's this artist, Jeff Koons, who sells, as far as living artist, he's, I think, the richest living artist. His stuff sells for millions of dollars and then goes on auction afterward, sell even more. And a lot of people hate him because he doesn't physically make his stuff. He has like other people make it. But the thing that I've noticed in his practice is that he finds the most...
Didn't Warhol do that?
Warhol did as well.
Yeah, like a factory.
There's a lot of people. There's a particular artist. Anyway, I don't want to go down that route. But there's some artists that like hire other people to do their thing, and then they put their name on it. The thing, though, with Jeff Koons is he's always looking for a costly way to make it. So when he has his painters paint it, he does it in the most like ridiculously expensive, costly way, so that he can still stand. And I think he knows this, that like the collector wants it to cost something for them to then be willing to put up the $2 or $3 million, $10 million. Because if it's something where it's like, oh, I just slung paint. This is why people hate Jackson Pollock. Right? They're like, oh, he rode his bicycle on the canvas. Like, that didn't cost you anything. Versus things that are, like a Monet painting with like all the little dots. And it's like that, so difficult, so time consuming. This is something I'm facing in my own practice, where there's a thing I'm working with like this stuff here, where the perceived cost is low. It's pom-poms and Google. These things are free. Ironically, they're actually not that cheap to work with. And as I'm working on some of these other soft sculptures, I'm investing hundreds of dollars to make a thing.
I thought that mask just appeared in your bedroom, though.
Well, this is, I create a spawning pool. I have all the materials in a zone, and then they emerge. But it's costly to get all those materials.
Right. Sorry, my mistake. I'm so sorry.
Thank you for that clarification. I appreciate that. Anyway, I think that goes into like filmmaking.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's costly, and so it has value. This is something that I've really paid attention to the last few years, is like getting your art out to exhibition in galleries, because what that allows you to do as the artist, if you go to your own exhibition, your opening night or whatever, it allows you that you get a moment to where your art is yours and your audience is there, and you get to tell them exactly what it's about, not what they're interpreting it as. You get to tell them, this is how much it cost, this is how I did it, this is why I did it, and that has so much value. I'm learning that it's a little harder with, or I shouldn't say harder. It's different with filmmaking than showing paintings in a gallery. It's a little bit different. But that's so important because you get that opportunity to communicate the cost directly to your audience. And when you share stuff online, again, like as soon as you hit that upload button, like it's not yours anymore. And the cost for everyone else goes away. It doesn't matter. It has no cost really, because it just becomes this other, maybe, pretty thing in the sea of pretty things. I think you're spot on with cost. And it's important to, as an artist, to begin to articulate that, get good at articulating the cost of your practice and your craft.
I have a question about the kinds of projects that you take on. Like, do you have, like, so we know that you're making a lot of films right now. You've made a film with Saint Ego, the music video. You are making another film with Will. You're doing a lot with Temple of Dance, right? So making dance-based video work. Do you like think about like, or maybe even just like as you're sitting now, are you thinking about like, there's a project that I have in me that I want to see made? Do you like the sort of like spontaneity of like people, you're kind of like your roster of your bandmates kind of like coming to you with an idea and kind of like trying to get you excited about their idea? Like, how do you kind of like think about, even just like the next year or two in terms of like, are there like, is there a wish list of like,
sure.
Yeah. How do you approach like your work moving forward?
Well, yeah, what I'm doing right now is going to, inform the next, I think 5 years of my life. I have the, I think it's a privilege. I think it's a privilege of being able to work on my art when I want, with who I want, how I want. It's not something that I've made so much of a or I put so much like reliance on it to like getting me by, like paying my bills or something like that. I definitely have a privilege to work on projects that inspire me, and with people that that inspire me. So, as far as like, I don't know, goals, like I had goals for this year, which we've talked a little bit about in the Artist Council. I think, maybe like a month back, at that point I think I've made like I got 3 short films under my belt this year. And
that's awesome.
I set a goal for myself. I wanted to do at least 2 more by the end of the year. And I'm on track to do that. But I feel like I'm in this place right now with dance. This is why it's so important to get reps in and to get out of this idea of perfection. We talked about this the other night. It's so easy to just kind of like spiral and then get paralysis because you're overthinking things, and you start to think, oh, like I don't have this, so it can't be this way, or what are people going to think? All those things, right? And getting that out of the way so you can, it's like a tree. It's like you have to sprout your leaves so your branches can grow. And if you're not sprouting leaves, they sprout and then they flourish and then they die and they fall off for a reason, so you can grow. And so I think it's so important to get reps in. And where I'm at right now, I'm working a lot with a dance company, and it's a subject that I've wanted to pursue for a long time. just now, I feel like kind of like starting to get in the zone. Finding good collaborators and making cool stuff, and that's where I want to be. I think that's the stuff I'm most excited about, working with this dance company. I really want to dive into this this subject matter and this medium and like swim around, if that makes sense, for several years.
So that's the next 5 years, you said?
Yeah, really going hard on filmmaking, and just dance specifically, because I feel like so much of dance is it ties in music, which obviously inspires me a ton, and so it's been such a joy. It felt so I don't know, easy and right. When I started working with this group, I was just like, I still tell them this every time after we film. I'm just like, I can do this all day. Like I want to be here doing this all day. So, but
that's always a good indication that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yes,
I feel like that's where the best art happens. Yeah. It's like where you like making it. It's, again, I say this, I've been saying this on every episode, the difference of like, do you like having made great art, or do you like making great art? And if you don't like the making, if you don't like the doing, the process of like actually what it is, then it's like maybe this isn't for you. Or like B, maybe you need to like figure out what it is that you really like doing. Or C, this is kind of where I'm going. It's like the key to having what you want is wanting what you have. So I'm pushing myself to go, no, I will like this. I will fall in love with this. I will sit here and I will figure out what it is I like about mixing paint on a palette, and the hours and hours it takes with an oil painting before I have something I can show anybody, and really get into it. But what you're saying is like you enjoy the making, and that's where you get the time, which gives you the experience, which then was how you get to the point where you make something really good. And it's all of those things.
That's the whole point, right? It's like the point is the journey. It's not necessarily about the destination, right? It's I think this goes back to what you were talking about earlier, Chris, was gratitude. Having this level of like acceptance and gratitude for what you have is so important, I think, as an artist. And also it's good to have constraints and boundaries too in your process. Because the more you have, I don't know if you've experienced this, but it's like the more paintbrushes or the more like colors you have on your palette, does it like make it even more?
Oh my gosh,
the process even longer?
Yeah, it worse. It's like straight up. It's there's a whole thing within palettes. I can't tell you. And this is a thing when I'm like out of practice, I always fuck it up. I get too many things on there, and it's like, shit. But when I'm in practice, I can make every color in the rainbow with black, red, a kind of brownish yellow, white, and that's it. Those four
colors.
I don't even need blue.
Yeah.
The black becomes blue.
Wow.
It's like this Zorn palette is what it's called. It's like these four, and you can anyway, I'll get into the weeds about it. But like, when you limit yourself, you have to start to like figure out how to use these things and really understand these things. And if you give yourself too much freedom to like run around and do anything and change your mind and start over. And this is the thing I think about digital art and why it goes back to that cost. If I'm doing an oil painting and I'm painting somebody's face and the eye is crooked, in a digital thing, I can select it and then shrink it and move it and expand it and undo it and try it again, copy and paste. In painting, it's like, well, shit, I got to paint the eye again. I got to paint over it. And then there are some mediums like fresco where you literally can't. It's like you get one shot, one try. If anybody gets a chance to go to the Sistine Chapel, it's all fresco. So everything was first try.
Wow.
There was no undos. There's no erase.
Yeah.
It's insane. So the cost, right? It's like, and it's massive. Like all of those things make you, as you learn about it, you're like, oh my, okay, this is one of the greatest. This is better than humanity. Maybe it's like this whole, it becomes divine. It transcends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's it becomes something that's
In the spirit
magnificent.
of constraints, have you considered, Trueson, like an entire year where you only paint the Golden Driller?
Ooh, honestly, dude,
Oh my God.
that would be
The world is waiting for you.
Maybe I need to have a whole show of just the Golden Driller. That would be amazing.
Well, you sure do talk about it a lot.
I do. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, why are you so obsessed with me? And it's
Yeah.
like, I'm not obsessed with you, but the truth is, I guess I am. I have a crush on the Driller, and that's why I'm just like trying to see if he'll notice me by bullying him.
Yeah.
And then so we have a tradition on the show where at the end I give people a creative reading. Now it's optional if you'd like to have one. Have you ever had one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you did one for me.
Yes.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, kind of.
Okay.
In a similar setting.
In a similar setting. Okay.
Yeah, it was impromptu.
Would you like to?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you know how this works.
Mhm.
I may have my own opinions of what I think I see. I'll tell you what I see, and then you tell me what it means, or the best you can understand that to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's opening the channel now. That's what.
I see you in a field of grass. There is a kind of sepia tone color cast over everything, and it's like black and white. It's monochromatic. And you're slowly walking through this grass, like a prairie. There's some trees off in the distance. Looks like golden hour. And you have your camera around your neck. You're kind of holding it in your left hand, the lens. It's heavy. And with your right hand, you're brushing the tops of the grass as you're walking through this prairie. I can hear cicadas.
Yeah.
It's hot. You're sweating. There's some kind of bird. I don't recognize the call way off in the distance. But it's fairly, aside from the cicadas and the bird, it's fairly quiet. And you seem to be alone walking. Have you been in a prairie or a field of grass lately?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
With a camera?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I do that often. That's my happy place. You're describing my happy place. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's what it is, I guess.
Yeah.
See if I can get another image here. Okay, interesting. I'm seeing a Gundam wing helmet. Do you know what Gundam wing is?
Yes.
Okay, I'm seeing a Gundam wing, like the head and the shoulders.
Yeah.
It's like anime. Has that like really intense kind of anime animation.
Yep.
It's in the outer space. And it's like flying away from my point of view and then facing me like the camera and like doing this power pose as its beam sword lights up. And I don't hear any sounds. It's it's silent, and it's kind of rolling. It's not. Yeah, it's rolling on a loop. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah. Oh man, good. So many things about that.
Really?
Yeah. I will say, I do like Gundam. It's a great show. Let's see. I was playing a video game that was like Fortnite or something. Had like it was Call of Duty. Call of Duty had a Gundam,
skin?
like a Gundam season.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
No way. Are you serious?
Yeah.
When were you playing? When was that?
Oh, I play frequently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this was just a couple months ago.
Dude, that's crazy. I almost didn't take that image because I was like, "There's no way." But
yeah.
Okay.
But it's very like that whole I don't know, like genre of anime. It's it's very mech, right? It's very mech. There's a lot of it's very like stoic. There's a lot of order. There's a lot of order. Or like the Gundams are coming to bring order into chaos.
Empire.
which is a theme. It's like this perfectionist side of me. I'm very much I like things in their place. And I feel like there's a shred of that in that kind of style of anime. It's very like order is coming to subdue this chaos.
All right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. Let's see if we can get one more. Okay. I see a small pot, like a little ceramic pot. But it's like smaller than a teacup, and it's got a little fern, like an air fern, sitting in it. It looks like it's on like a linoleum table. There's light in the room. I'm not able to see a whole lot other than this tiny little pot with an air fern in it on this like linoleum table. Yeah, that's all I'm getting. It's not a whole lot.
That feels like a reflection of my partner. She's an artist too, as you guys know. And we share a lot of, I guess, similar interests, obviously. We have so much in common. And I feel like that, I don't know, a lot of those things you just described is like, that feels like a reflection of her. And her, I don't know, maybe like level of peace that they bring into my life.
Very cool. Wow. Well, I think that's good for now. I think I'm going to take them off.
Welcome back.
Well, yeah. Thank you. Wow, it's good to see you guys again. Yeah, that was probably one of my most accurate ones I've had in a while. One of the more. It's interesting as I engage in this practice, because we talk about spirituality on the show, and I still haven't really like let go of the atheist kind of skeptic identity. I'm in the process of deconstructing it, and when I have readings like that, it makes me, I don't know. It's a thing. It's a thing.
You feel like you're tapping into something
maybe.
higher.
Maybe. I mean, that's the intention. My mom does this stuff, and I just do it the way that she says she does it. I try to do what she does.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get hits, sometimes I don't, and it's just how it goes.
Or is it like any work of art where you put it out in the world and we just reflect ourselves back inside?
Or I'm actually seeing something, Chris, and it's not you just interpreting these open-ended images and filling meaning into them and finding where they fit.
I mean, first of all, I'm very open to your specific talent in that area, as well as just like, if someone tells me they channel, then I believe them. I think that like we all have different talents and skills as humans, and like the fact that I don't have that, unique ability doesn't mean that nobody has the unique ability. So I'm very open to this being something, and I see you cultivating it in real time. And you totally missed the mark on my reading. So
yeah, no, I didn't get shit with Chris. I was like, come on, man, it just happens that way. Well, this is your time now to plug what you're doing. Shout out your handles, get people to follow you, all of those things.
Yeah. My name is Logan Miller. It's Shadow Culture. Drop the E at the end on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. It's the same thing, Shadow Culture on YouTube. I'm a visual artist. I work a lot with musicians. Obviously, I collaborate with these guys right here. Will, Saint Ego, I've done a lot of collaboration with. If you're into music and film, follow my art.
Can people? Are you open for taking new work right now?
No, I am not. I'm booked for the rest of the year, which is a great feeling. I work.
What if your favorite artist is watching this right now and they reach out and they're like, "Well, I was going to reach out, but unfortunately, he's booked."
Get on the list next year.
Yeah, no, send me a DM. We'll talk.
Yeah, there you go. Keep the channel open, though.
Yeah, exactly. You have to. My work and my creativity is very, it's seasonal. I don't do this 9 to 5, and so it comes and goes. I have seasons in my life that are very creative and very explosive and colorful and fulfilling, and then I have other seasons in my life where I'm resting and kind of going inward and preparing for something else down the line. So this fall, really the rest of this year, I'm booked with a lot of really exciting projects. That's the coolest thing, is like everything coming down the line is like I'm excited about. There's nothing on the to-do list that I'm like dreading.
Oh,
so
it's amazing.
It's a great place to be.
That's the zone. Well, that concludes the time that we have for today's episode. We appreciate you tuning in here at the channel. I want to thank Citizens of Sound, Pop House, A-Slut, the historic Riverside studio, Ian Upton, and me for bringing this production to you. Remember to follow, like, comment, subscribe, all of those things. And with that,
keep the channel open.